I like the fact that I have ADHD. I like that after years of uncertainty and constantly wondering what is wrong with me, I finally found the reason for my inattentiveness. I understood why I keep jumping from one task to another and eventually stop at something I truly like, even accepting that this task might not help me earn money right now. Having ADHD is my superpower. It makes me different, gives me strength, but also brings challenges that every person with ADHD has to learn to live with. And this video I want to talk about building a time management system for those diagnosed with attention deficit and hyperactivity disorder, no matter how scary this sounds. In this short video, I will try to define the most convenient strategy for managing time and ask you to share your experiences and ideas in the comments. Feel free to write me an email or message me on social media. I really appreciate this precious communication and will be happy to talk with each of you. I always emphasize that all my videos represent only my personal experience, so if you have any questions or suggestions while watching, please share them in the comments below. From the moment I first learned what ADHD really is, not just a scary word used to frighten parents of hyperactive kids, I started studying it and finding connections between my behavior and the described symptoms. I already knew I was close to the truth. Then I took several tests that confirmed my suspicions, and after a specialized doctor prescribed stimulants, and I took my first dose. It was like my eyes were open. Methylphenidate gave me an understanding of how neurotypical brains experience life. On one hand, it answered many questions. On the other hand, it made me realize I can't live on pills 24/7. I need to do more than just tell everyone I'm a happy ADHD owner. I need to start seriously searching for a system and mechanisms, something specially designed for me and my brain. But besides bluntly following the recommendations of those who have already built their own system, I, as someone who always questions what I read, rejected any idea that people with ADHD must follow to-do lists, break their days down by hours or even by minutes just to keep their brain interested, which is the main challenge. You probably wouldn't be watching this video if you had no connection to ADHD. Maybe you suspect something is off with your own brain, or maybe you're looking for this kind of information for your child, brother, sister, or just a friend. In any case, you need to approach this information with the utmost seriousness. In this video, we won't talk again about the causes and symptoms of this disorder. You can easily find all of that on the internet. Instead, let's talk about how we can help ourselves or our loved ones with ADHD by building a time management system. The first thing I want to point out, which personally concerns me, is how attention is captured. Yes, keeping attention on something boring is a challenge even for neurotypical people, but for those with ADHD, it is a living hell. The hardest part is not the process of doing tasks, but the moment when you start a task. These situations become even more painful when there is no immediate reward after completing a task. The ADHD brain truly loves something new experiences, new places, new actions. That's why we easily jump between tasks as soon as they become boring. This is why it's so hard for us to focus on one thing. And it only becomes possible when deadlines to complete the thing hit critical points. But what should we do? How can people with ADHD build a career or develop a business if we can only focus on something for a very short time? For that, we need our own reward system. Many recommend using timers like the Pomodoro timer, where you alternate work and rest periods on the clock, which supposedly gives you a better chance to complete tasks. I have tried timers and Pomodoro and all that, but the fact is my brain doesn't really wait for rest because rest doesn't bring dopamine, which is what we lack. The only way timers help me is when I know that after 30 or 45 minutes, I won't just get rest, but I'll also allow myself to switch the task and do something else. And I like that. Yes, it might seem that jumping from one task to another can affect the quality of work, but in practice, people with ADHD find more pleasure and stimulation when they jump between tasks. And this is one of my tips today. Instead of expecting some completely unmotivating pause, try switching priorities by timer and work on something different. You can easily juggle 3 or 4 tasks without lowering their quality. The main thing is still to set aside time to rest in the way that truly feels restful for you. People with ADHD literally squeeze all their energy out, and until you learn how to manage that energy well, you will feel terrible at the end of the day. Next, let's repeat the main expert advice. Break your tasks into small parts and always praise yourself after completing even the smallest one. Yes, if you are as skeptical as I am, you might say it's just nonsense or self-suggestion. But if you think about it, you can come to the conclusion that our brain and mind only understand what you say, what you believe, and what you aim for. These conclusions are hard for me. It's hard to realize that only you shape your fate and no one else can do it for you. People can give you facts that may influence your life, but the only person who can break you or lift your incredible heights is you. And the advice to break big tasks into small ones is the most precious advice you can get. And it's a huge problem and sin if you are not ready to accept it and start integrating it into your life. Let's talk a little more about this system and why I used to think it was nonsense. I am a perfectionist who easily gets discouraged. To keep my tasks always in sight, I even hung a whiteboard where I listed all the big tasks across my project. My tasks were like finish the website, build a lead generation system, shoot 2 videos, and so on. And this was so silly. I could never complete all the tasks I set. Every time I looked at them, they literally destroyed my motivation because the task finish the website has no real endpoint. You can't really finish a website. You always need to add blog posts, update pages, and more. Now I understand that instead of such broad tasks, I simply needed to break them into many really small tasks, and after completing each, find a way to reward or treat myself. Now, instead of finish the website, I have several tasks like test and set up the contact form, move image hosting, create one section of the service page, and these tasks work much better, and I definitely recommend trying this. If you also decide to use a whiteboard instead of erasing completed tasks completely, try just crossing them out. At the end of the day, it is much more satisfying to see a list of crossed off and completed tasks than to look at a clean board, which in my opinion somehow feels like you're starting over from scratch. Unfortunately or fortunately, people with ADHD must have a specially designed time management system tailored to themselves. No one can offer a generalized solution. You have to find what works and what doesn't for you. I won't recommend meditation to you. I know you have probably heard many times about the benefits of meditation for the ADHD brains. But I want to talk about something you definitely must do as soon as the thought enters your mind that ADHD is something you will live with your entire life. You absolutely need to learn to understand yourself and your body. Instead of telling everyone around you that you have ADHD and warning them that you might forget, miss, or not complete a task, you need to learn to communicate with yourself and understand the signals your brain sends. This is a crucial skill, one you must start practicing right now. But what does that mean? It means that by using meditation or any other techniques, such as talking to yourself in the mirror or even without a mirror, you must, and I emphasize must, learn to ask yourself what you are feeling right now and why you feel that way. And please do not blame yourself by saying things like I'm failing again or I'm playing PlayStation instead of doing something useful. Don't scold yourself for doing something wrong. Instead, ask yourself, why do I feel bad while doing this task? Ask yourself if you really need to do it or if you just want to. People with ADHD are scientifically proven to several times more prone to depression than those without ADHD. This means that constant thoughts of I'm doing something wrong or I'm not doing what I should will eventually lead you to depression, which is a whole other topic. That's why you must learn to talk to yourself. Don't hide from these conversations or dismiss them as nonsense. That won't help. You are wrong. Talking to yourself is the strongest way to find happiness. Why do I feel this way right now? Why can't I start this task now, and will I want to do it later? Only by learning this inner dialogue can we understand what we truly want. So at the moment when you suffer the most because you can't start a task, stop. Take a few deep breaths, close your eyes and stand in front of a mirror and ask yourself, what is going on? What is bothering me right now? What do I really want to do now? Maybe it's absolutely reasonable to switch to what you want and return to the task in an hour or half an hour. When you start talking honestly to yourself, you'll find a solution. Despite all the medication methods that raise dopamine levels and many therapeutic techniques available for people with ADHD, your first goal should not be supporting neurotransmitters level, but deeply understanding everything happening with your brain, both chemically and in every other aspect. Thank you for watching this video. I truly hope my thoughts on these topics help you find direction and answers to some of your questions. I sincerely ask you to start loving yourself and finally find true happiness. See you in the next video. Bye now.